thank you for bringing us this beautiful and sensitive film. So well done. So well done in every way. Do you want to tell us a little bit about the story, how it came to you? And I thought you were in the film. Are you?
Yeah.
Your brother Diaz, right?
I was.
Yes.
I was. It's a small role. So,
But important because you give her the book, you give her J.K. Rowling, right?
I didn't want to be in that film, but one of the producers, when during the readings, where it still hasn't cast that part yet, and it was like, you read it quite well. Why don't you play that part? I was like, hell no, you gotta have to pay me first.
Some paid. No.
Oh, you paid him?
No.
Oh, okay. But tell us how the story came together and how what was the inspiration for the story?
The story was actually for a film lab that was made by their production house.
Yeah.
And it was actually supposed to be a story about Papua, and I was thinking about creating a story about some issues in Papua, and there are actually a plethora of issues in Papua that is, too much if I want to think about it. There are educations, basic human rights, and economy, health, and like lots of stuff. So I was thinking maybe how to create a story that is simple but has everything. Speaks almost everything. I cannot speak everything, all the issues in Papua in one film, but I try to put everything in one story. And yeah, that issue about like forced marriage in Papua is quite big.
Yeah.
Especially in the rural areas of Papua. And that's why I wanted to bring it into life, because sometimes it's just unfair for like children.
Theo, this setting is the Wamena area,
Yeah.
the Bali Valley.
The Bali Valley.
So this area of Papua is very hard to get to, and now you see a road in there. That road is not completed, right?
That hasn't been completed.
It hasn't been completed, but it's only in the last few years, correct?
Are you able to hear Theo? Can you hear him all right? I want you to put this a little closer to your...
Maybe.
I'm not sure yours is on.
Is this okay?
Switch mics, maybe.
This is okay.
Okay, maybe I'll speak this.
A little louder.
Yeah.
No?
Still not? Hello? Oh. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, sorry. I'm trying to get a thing with this. It's okay. What was the budget for you to make this film? And what were some of the issues? First of all, you're shooting in a very rugged terrain, it seems to me, right? It's not easy to shoot this film.
It is.
You're in mountains. Thank you very much. You're in mountains. You're down by rivers. There's so many rocks. People are sort of chasing. Sorry, I'm not sure this is actually working.
What number mic is that?
What? This is number 1.
It's working.
Yeah? Is that better? Anyway, it's very rugged terrain, all of this. So when you planned the film, what were the challenges that you faced in getting the film shot?
Actually, we shot the film during COVID, and we actually couldn't get lots of rights to do it in the mountains. So I went down with the scouting team, and we picked locations that is actually closer to each other. Those places are actually closer to each other, and we managed to do the whole thing actually in 11 days. So, because everything, all the actors were like, they were performing really well. So I don't feel like I need to do lots of takes for them.
Okay. Now, talk about the actors too, because I think the young one who played Orpa was excellent. How did you cast her? How did you know
her? She was actually, like most of them, first I want to say that they are not really actors. They have no acting backgrounds. Only for the guy, except the guy who played Ryan and the American guy.
Yeah.
They had films credit before on their belt, but the others, they are all non-actors. This is Orpa is their first time, and
okay, well then it's brilliant on your part. But you got them to do really good work. So, what did it take? You said you didn't do that many takes. So how are you able to bring out this kind of a performance from them?
We had a lot of reading sessions, especially me and the girl who played Orpa. Like I told her to, after the school you came to my place and we do just small readings between ourselves. And I tried to build her confidence by that, slowly and slowly.
This is how you prepared her for the
Yeah.
shoot. Okay.
Yeah.
Also, can you talk a little bit about any you're saying challenges of working outdoors? You're saying it was during COVID, so maybe working outdoors was easier than being in a populated area because there were so many restrictions?
Yeah, actually it is. It was pretty quiet. Yeah, there's not many people around, so it's actually pretty easy to work. And the people in Papua at those times, they were like, it's very ignorant, but they said they don't believe in COVID because they had malaria already. It was a big thing. Also, tuberculosis, TBC is also a big thing there. So they were like, COVID, it's
So
like a cold.
COVID not a big deal because of malaria and tuberculosis.
Yeah, kind of ignorant, but
Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
Why don't I ask Giovanni something?
Sure.
As I understand it, Giovanni, the film came about through a lab that you helped set up, you and your organization. Can you tell us more about that and the idea of that and how you then, through that, were able to bring a popular film together?
So yeah, sorry. The initial idea is about. I saw a lot of film from rural areas, including Papua, since I was kid, but it never been directed by any natives Papuan. So it's always came from Javanese point of view,
Filmmaker.
yeah. And then at some point we're also, as a Javanese guy, we're angry with that because the point of view is different. I mean, if you or if me go to Papua as a director or as a cinematographer, we always tend to shoot a wider because it's good. The mountain is big, the everything is great, but maybe for Theo or the other filmmakers from Papua, it's different. It's like their ordinary day. So that's the thing that makes me sad for almost 15 years since I was a kid. So the idea is about let's try to find a director from Papua, which mostly they always have documentary background or anything. So we made that lab and we go to Papua for 2 times, to Sorong and to Jayapura, to scout and to promote this lab. And then there's almost 200 people 200 Papuans that submitted as a writer, director, and then we cut it into a 50 and then 10, and then we do the interviews through Zoom, and then we got 4 finalists. And initially we want to make a omnibus, a 4 short films, but we ran out of money. And then we tried to have another strategy, and then we made a feature film instead. So they would just have around 2.5 months to change the short into feature. And the thing is, we feel that the story since the beginning, it feels like a feature film for us. So it's a blessing for us. And then we made it, and the budget is around only a 200 or 250. That's why we only have 12 days of shooting. That's when we got for 11, right? And then we completed in 11
for 12, yeah.
And we do the reading through the Zoom because of the COVID restriction, and even all the cast just know each other, just met each other 3 days before the shoot. So he really did a good job with Ursula, the Orpa cast. And Orpa and Rin just met 3 days before the shoot. We do some practice in hotel and a lot of restriction and limitation, and that's the thing, yeah. So yeah.
So this is the first feature film to come out of your lab.
Yeah.
And will this create interest, or will this create interest in doing more feature films? How will you get that done?
So yeah, I mean, we're already in our development for his second feature.
Okay, good.
But for the lab, we try to make it, and yeah, I mean it's our like independent lab, and I mean we need another support from maybe the government or anything for the next. And we already have a plan, and
Yes.
for the short one, and another lab that maybe cinematographer or anything. So it's already on our roadmap. Yeah. I hope we can make it like next year or next 2 years again. Yeah.
So the idea here is to develop sort of an indigenous Papuan filmmaking, not industry, but sort of a creativity that can produce more films that come out of Papua.
Yeah.
Out of Papua.
Like we want to make sure that his voice and the other Papuans' voices, it's really near, it's really real, you know. So that's okay.
I think the audience should understand that the relationship between Papua and the rest of Indonesia is a lot of Indonesians don't really know Papua. So you could be in Jakarta and grow up or Java, and Papua is really distant. And it's almost like us, Americans, understanding a Native American people that we don't know very much about. That can sometimes be the attitude. And there's also a very stigmatizing attitude that you will see. You will see people in Jakarta, if you mention people from Papua, with their ignorance, it's almost very racist. You know, for those that they can have that. So it's what the work that you're doing is really it's really crucial. It's important. Also, it's not just for Papua; it's for the rest of Indonesia.
Yeah.
You know? And I would think Nanto from the consulate officials like him would understand how important it is for the identity of the nation to have equal understanding for all its people, the country's people.
Oh, who has questions for the filmmaker? Yes? Yes? Gary, go ahead.
First of all, thank you for sharing the film.
Thank you.
It would be absolutely amazing. About you, where did you grow up, and where did you learn to make film?
My dad was a diplomat, so I travel a lot outside of Papua, like Netherlands and then Jakarta for a while. Yeah, like little bit here and there. But I finished my high school in Manila at an international school. It's basically an American school, but they call it international. And then right from there, I took a medicine school at the La Salle University in Manila, but I didn't finish it because it's not really my thing. Only it's Asian thing. My dad wants me to be a doctor, but I don't. So then from that I took multimedia in Australia. Then after that I just move around, do things. Yeah.
Do you want to talk a little bit about your career as a rapper in Papua?
Yeah. There's.
Go ahead.
So it was around at the time when I started making movies, but I didn't have enough money to make movies. And I got tricked by some people here and there about they gonna give me money, but then I was like, okay, so filmmaking is a very expensive hobby for me, so I need to get a new hobby. And then
Cheaper one.
came music through rap, and yes.
Can you give us an example?
Yeah. Actually, he got 1 million YouTube hit, right? More than 1 million.
But he has music that is out there because
Yeah,
I've heard it. Yes.
It's more than 1 million.
It's on YouTube.
It's on YouTube, right. So,
Called
Okay.
Easy T. Just check it out after this.
okay.
Easy T.
Okay. Who else has questions? Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Could you talk a little bit about the relationship between tribal culture and Christianity? Because it's crucial in the film and interestingly portrayed.
Did everybody hear that question? Relationship between tribal culture and Christianity.
Yeah, it was quite interesting because Christianity is actually one of the first religion that came to Papua, first of the major religion, that we know. And they've been there since the colonial times. They started with the Germans, and then the Dutch came, and then the Americans, after the independence of Indonesia. It's more of the Americans that came and spread the word there. Yeah, like in a way, actually Christianity in some parts of Papua assimilated with like the cultures, the tribal religious beliefs there. There are some, yeah, so it's kind of interesting actually.
Who else? Yes.
I'm interested to know about the music and how that came about, and also about the languages. It seems that there were some different languages being portrayed in the film. And is there a unified language there, or is it tribal, different dialects?
Yeah, actually, in Papua, actually most people spoke Indonesian, which is like the major Indonesian language. We got the whole Indonesia actually speak in one language, but with our own dialects. And yeah, of course, in Orpa there is different languages there as well, from like local language, and also the guy who played the missionary, he uses the Dani tribe language, which is like a very rare, but he actually he actually is a third generation missionary.
Oh.
So like his grandfather was a missionary, one of like actually the guy who founded the Presbyterian church in Wamena, something like that.
Oh.
And like he's the third generation there, so he was born there and he knows the language. So when he read the part, I actually didn't write it in that language, but he said he wants to do it in that. I was like, okay, yeah, if you can do it, okay, that's good. Yeah.
Who else? Questions?
Music.
Oh, about
The music.
the music itself. Who composed the music?
The music is actually composed in 3 different areas actually. So we got a friend of mine, one of the producers' friend, he became a friend of mine now, in Denmark, and then
The one who play like
the one who played the flutes in cello.
cello and flute, yeah.
Yeah.
And the piano. And then the other big stuff was done in Jakarta by 2 guys. And then there are some of the music at the end, with the choir and the tribal choir thing. It was done by a small team in Papua.
Well, I do want to say that the music is integral to the film. Really well placed. Really helps the story move quite well. You did a great job with that.
I always believe that a good film should have a good music.
I agree. I agree. Questions? Yeah, you want to comment, Mike?
Well, I have just a quick comment, which is that the star of this movie is 13 years old. And I don't know if that's the age of the actress.
She was in final years of high school during that time, maybe 15, 16 during the shooting. Yeah.
But the next film in the AICEF
Right.
series is about 13-year-olds. So
Yes.
we didn't plan it that way.
No.
The other thing I was going to say is that there's a lot of asthma in Indonesia. It's very common. And in my own experience, I grew up with a slight respiratory asthma myself. And I was once in a very remote area in Indonesia, and I had kind of an attack, and I didn't have any medicine. And in Indonesia, there are not pharmacies in rural areas, but like kiosks, like stalls, and they might sell cigarettes, they might sell shampoo, and sometimes they have medicine. And I had my empty bottle of my prescription, and I went to this apotheke, it's called, and they were able to somehow make from my bottle what I needed. And I was astounded because I was in such a rural area. But maybe it's because it's quite common.
Maybe we'll take one more question. Hey, Billy, you have a question?
This morning.
Michael Coe is an American actor, is that what you said?
Michael Koh, he's an Chinese Indonesian actor, the guy who played Ryan. Yeah.
Oh, he's Indonesian.
And so he's actually like, there's only 2 guys who've been in the movies, the American guy and then the Michael Koh.
Yeah.
Who is the American guy?
He's called Danny. His name is Danny. He's an actor.
Was he played the missionary?
Yeah, he played the
Yeah,
missionary.
played the missionary.
The guy who played the missionary.
So
Yeah.
was he born in Indonesia, so he's an Indonesian citizen?
No, I believe he's got American visas.
Yeah, American.
But, so he has to travel back here. But then, yeah, he was born there and he lives with the tribe since he was little. Yeah.
Well, we're going to need to clear the theater so we can get ready for our 2 o'clock, our second screening for the AICEF. And so I want to thank you all for coming, and please give these gentlemen a round of applause.